I was born with forceful brain damage, has to do with coordination. And that means I can't, walk, get about real good. And I'm blind in one eye. And basically the doctor said I'd never walk, never talk. But I started walking when I was 5. And the doctors, that just goes to show the doctors don't know everything.
I hear the man.
Yep.
I hear the man is in town.
Yep.
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man.
I think the first time I met Darrell Glenn was maybe when he'd come to Middlesboro to get baptized.
I think Trevor was the first person that introduced me to him, even before I came to Central. And I was talking about this guy that would watch his sermons and was interacting with him, and just remember meeting him, being just a sweet soul and whatnot. And little did I know at that time that he and I would grow to be, very good friends.
The first time I ever met him, he just grabs me and hugs me. He just loves you.
He's in essence my brother. I didn't have a brother. He grew up next to me. Our houses were next to one another. He's always been that guy that just loved people and loved in an extreme way. And he has taken his situation and made it beautiful.
He never accepted the idea of limitation. He's always used what was available. So our relationship has spanned the course of almost 2 decades. So at the beginning of our relationship, he would write me weekly letters, and they would be typed out and 2-3 pages long. But as technology has evolved, he has just always seized whatever opportunity he had and whatever he could do to reach out further.
When social media came, his influence began to just explode.
He feels like this is what God's called him to do, to make a difference and to use whatever he can. He feels like, that the internet is his pulpit. That's his stage. That's his church, and he tries to tend to it, and he tries to take care of it. And I think that is what has led to his enormous influence. Is he's leveraged whatever he had to do what God had put in his heart to do.
I mean, his impact is huge. I mean, I work in the school system. I know a lot of people. I don't know a third of the people that he does. And people always respond this way: man, I love him. He is such an encourager. I sure am glad when he prays for me. That's huge. Very few people ever live a life and have that kind of impact on other people.
He's just full of love.
Darrell loves, fiercely.
And very, very, very inspirational.
This guy is fired up. He is intense, and he can quote Bible like a machine gun.
Darrell Glenn, for me, is my prayer warrior.
Darrell Glenn is nothing but an encourager.
There have been a couple of times when, I've probably been licking my wounds or, feeling sorry about myself, and be talking to him on the phone, and all of a sudden him say something like, okay, here's what I want you to do right now. And I want you to put your hand on the screen. And of course that feels a little weird. But I'd put my hand on the screen, and then he would just commence to praying for me. And you really would. You really would feel the presence of God, and there would be a sense of peace and encouragement.
Trevor says you've been one of his biggest encouragers.
Yeah.
And I know you've done that for other pastors.
Yeah.
I don't know if you think about it like this, but every time somebody at the Creek Church makes a decision to follow Jesus,
Yeah.
you had a part in that. Because you
Wow.
encouraged. What does that mean to you?
Oh, I have never thought of it in that light before, but that is so humbling to me. That is so humbling. It's just amazing. To think of all the people. Some way, somehow. I've had a part in that happening and everything, and that makes me almost emotional, you know, makes me want to cry a little bit, because, I mean, what a God, what a mighty God we serve. That's all you can say. I was at my doctor, Dr. Edwards. He come and told me and everything. He said that I was diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer and stuff. He said he was sorry that he had to give me that news, and me and my mom, we both cried. We both cried a lot.
The day that he found out what was going on, you know, he said, "We are sad, we have cried, but our hope isn't shaken." So I think that's like the perfect microcosm for Darrell Glenn as a whole. He sees it as it is. He knows what it is, but yet his faith gives him a stronger persuasion that hope is not gone and that there's always good that's going to come out of it.
It's not as though he doesn't see these difficulties. It's not as though he doesn't weight them. And it's not as though he's not suffering through some of those things, but his love for God just eclipses that. When you hear him talk, you know, you're going to hear him talking about not the things that are in front of him, but the God who's above him.
He's never had it easy, but he never complains. Never, not even with cancer.
This past Christmas, at Nothing But Christmas, Darrell Glenn wasn't sure if he was going to be able to be here. He'd been feeling bad. He had not been able to eat for a while. And I told him, I said, "Darrell Glenn, you've got to be here, man. Our team wants to meet you. We want to take you backstage. We'd love to pray over you if that would be okay." And he was just so grateful that, one, he was here. Two, he was grateful that, you know, all these people knew what he was going through and wanted to pray for him. And he was thrilled, you know, after the fact that he got to share a little bit of his story and got to give a word of testimony.
I haven't felt the Lord lead me or anything through all this. I felt Him with me, and I'm just relying more and more on Him and trusting Him to help me get through this. And He is going to heal me of this. You know, if it's thought about healing, you know, in heaven, you know, that's okay. Everybody that's prayed for me here and praying for me now, I mean, still, I mean, that means so much to me. It means the world.
Heavenly Father, we're just so grateful that, Lord, this is what the church is all about. And this is what the church, you know, it was a very special moment for everybody in the room. And it probably ended up being special for lots of different reasons. But I think the seeds that were sown there, they'll be watered, and, you know, and there'll be an increase from it sooner or later. And that's what was so great about it. And then he went out and enjoyed the show.
He's going to keep on persevering until he sees Jesus face to face.
I think he was born for this purpose, to show people how God can use anybody to bring glory to Him.
Like what it says on the back of this shirt here today, that this losing is not an option, which it's not. It's not. No matter what happens, we ain't lost. We ain't lost. I mean, you know, heaven could be, you know, if the Lord does take me, it's going to be grief for my family. I know that. But, I mean, at the end, I mean, it's gain for me.